Alright, what's happening, y'all? It's your boy Rico from Street Scores coming with the annual draft pronunciation guide. We're going to dive into some of the most difficult names there are to pronounce in this draft. Now, I only chose the top 33 because some of them is kind of like you look at it and you can kind of sound it out. But for those that like there's a lot of discrepancies or people just flat out don't know how to pronounce their names, I'm coming with 33 names to help us all be smarter draft evaluators and better announcers. Because I know a lot of people doing their mock drafts. I know a lot of people may live stream during the draft like me. I'm live streaming rounds 1 through 5 and analyzing every pick for every team. So I need to know what I'm talking about. And I'm literally gonna have my draft guide, my pronunciation guide in like PDF form next to me while I'm live streaming. So if you also want the PDF form, just let me know in the comments so I can set up a PDF file that everybody can access, similar to the one that I did for the NFL draft prospects that Washington is targeting. How I have the PDF readily available for anybody that wants it on my channel. I can do the same thing for this, so just let me know in the comment section. But let's go ahead and get to it. Let's get it. Alright, so first up is Penei Sewell. Not Penei Sewell or Sell, or I used to say Penei Sewell, I think, or something. I don't even remember how I used to say it now that I know how to exactly say it, but it's Penei Sewell, offensive tackle. Next up, we have linebacker Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah. And I know this has been a difficult one. I've been saying JOK for the past few months. Like, I haven't even tried to tackle this until this video. So now I know it's Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah. Owusu-Koramoah. Man, I'm gonna be sounding extra good during the draft, man. I'm gonna sound like a professional out here. Next up, we have Edge from Georgia. You know what I'm saying? Not to stay on it too long, but that's my boy right there. We have Azeez Ojulari. Not that difficult, but it's one of those ones where you look at it, you're not exactly sure. But yeah, Azeez Ojulari. More emphasis on the law read than the OG. Then fourth, we have cornerback JC Horn. It's literally just JC Horn. Because at first I was pronouncing it like JC, but it's JC. Nowhere near as much emphasis on the J part. Just JC, not JC. Moving on, we have running back Travis Etienne. I know a lot of us pronounce it as ETN so far. And he said in an interview with Steve Smith, the wide receiver, that like if people call him that, that's cool. But the people back home where he's from, Louisiana, with the French infused accent and everything, it's Travis Etienne. I'm probably not doing it perfectly correct, but that's generally how you say it. Travis Etienne. The next up, you have running back Najee Harris. And apparently it's Najee, not Najee, Najee Harris. I've been saying Najee this whole time. Next up, you have safety Trevon Merrick. At first, like months ago, I was saying Morig, but then I figured out recently that it was Merrick, and I wanted to make sure that people knew that it is Trevon Merrick. And for those of y'all who may not know, if it's Trevon or Trayvon or whatever, it's just Trevon Merrick. But we're more focused on the Merrick part right now. Not Moerig or Morig or Morig, Merrick. Trevon Merrick. Then next up you have edge Gregory Rousseau. I was saying it more like a Rousseau, but it's actually more emphasis on the Rue than the So. I was doing Rousseau, but it's Rousseau. Gregory Rousseau. Then you have offensive tackle Dylan Radins. Like Ray, then done, like when you're done with something, and then Z's at the end. Dylan Radins. Not Raduns or Reduns. It's Dylan Radins. Then next up you have offensive tackle Liam Eichenberg. Liam Eichenberg. Then next up you have defensive lineman Levi Onwuzurike. Then next up you have edge Jason Owe. Literally just Owe. Jason Owe. Next up you have tight end Pat Fryer, like when you're cooking something on the fryer, and then Mutt, Pat Fryermuth. Then you have edge Joseph Osai, not Osei, not Osai or anything else, Joseph Osai. Then next up you have cornerback Ifitu Melifonwu. And this is one of the ones that I actually knew a while ago, so I'm actually pretty proud of myself because this may be only the third one so far out of 15 names that I already knew before I worked on this video. Ifitu Melifonwu. And you're technically supposed to emphasize Ifi and then Me and Fonwu. So Ifitu Melifonwu. Ifitu Melifonwu. And then you have defensive lineman Tommy Togiai. Tommy Togiai. And I mean, I didn't even exactly know where to start to guess for this one, but it's apparently Tommy Togiai. Then cornerback Paulson Adebo. Not Adebo, Adebo, Adiba, whatever. It's Paulson Adebo. Emphasis on the D part. Adebo. Paulson Adebo. The next up you have edge Quincy Roche. And this one I kind of guessed, but I wanted to make sure I knew for a fact that's how you pronounce it. And I feel like other people may have the same inference that I had. And I just want to make sure that we clarify it. Quincy Roche. Quincy Roche. You emphasize the Shay, not the Ro. So it's Quincy Roche. Then you have my boy Hamza. And I've been pronouncing it all kinds of things. Nasiruddin, but it's just Hamza. Emphasis on Ham. And then emphasis on Nas. Hamza Nasiruddin. Then you have defensive lineman Jay Tufele. And you emphasize the two part. Jay Tufele. Jay Tufele. Then cornerback Benjamin St. Just. St. Just. Not Juste, St. Just. Then you have offensive tackle Stone Forsyth. Stone Forsyth. Then you have safety Talanoa Hufanga. Hufanga. Emphasis on the no and the fawn. Talanoa and Hufanga. Then you have edge Deo Odangbo. Then you have offensive lineman, my boy, hope my burgundy and gold get him, Quinn Miners. I was saying Mainers and all kinds of stuff in the beginning, but it's just simply Quinn Miners, like my. Then you have defensive lineman Marlon Tuipulotu. Marlon Tuipulotu. Then you have edge Victor Dimukeji. Victor Dimukeji. Then you have edge Adekumbo Okindiji. Emphasize the I in the beginning of his first name and the O in the beginning of his last name. Adekumbo Okindiji. Then you have defensive lineman Kairis Tonga. Then you have wide receiver Josh Imatorbebe. Then you have defensive lineman Osa Odigizua. And then cornerback Diamodor Lenore. Then you have linebacker Coin Dang. So I guess you don't pronounce the Y, it's just Coin Dang. And yeah, man, that's it for the video. Again, I didn't want to just dive through like hundreds of names that may be easy to pronounce or not. I wanted to make sure I hit the hardest ones or the ones that are the most misunderstood, or the ones that, like Travis Etienne. We've been saying that wrong for forever, for years now. I'm glad to know that it's Travis Etienne. So any names that we had major discrepancies on, or ones that we just flat out did not know, I wanted to make sure I provided those. Then other random names that we're not 100% sure on, but again, we would have been here forever if I just opened the criteria up to be that general. I just wanted to attack a set few name mysteries that we had out there for this upcoming draft. Again, use this as your guide to make sure you sound professional when you're saying these names. Especially, you say Travis Etienne, you're going to catch people off guard. You're going to look like you did your research. So definitely feel free to use this guide when you're doing your mock drafts, if you're live streaming during the draft, or you're just having general draft talk with anybody, even if it's not for like a YouTube channel or anything like that, or a podcast or radio. But I appreciate the view. Please like this video if you liked it, if you learned anything. I guarantee you learned something, so you have to leave a like before you leave here, because I highly doubt many of y'all knew that it was Travis Etienne. or a few of these other ones. I know I caught y'all off guard with at least one of them. I highly doubt any person out there had all 33 right before this video, so you gotta leave a like before you leave. And as always, man, please subscribe if you haven't. Hit the bell next to the subscription button so you get a notification every time I release an informative video like this one. My film sessions, I have 2 more mock drafts to go before this draft comes up. My constant live streams every Friday 8 to 10 p.m. and every Sunday afternoon for a couple of hours. And as always, man, I really appreciate all of the support, man, every time. Everybody that pulls up to every video, every live stream and leaves a like, tells other people to leave likes, and also shares it out to invite more people to the Street Scores family. Man, I really appreciate all of y'all. And then big ups to everybody that comes and donates to the channel, man. Huge shouts out to y'all. And of course, big shouts out to all of my sponsors, especially my Pro Bowl sponsors whose name you see scrolling on the screen right now, man. I really appreciate it. I'll catch y'all later. I'm out.